Hey everyone, welcome to our pitch for the MYOB IT challenge. We are New Age Solution. Our team is comprised of 3 individuals. That's myself, Siddhi Malhotra, next to me, Alexander Milodinovic, and on the line we have Max Hare, and I'll be starting us off. So in these strange and truly unprecedented times, we have seen one thing apply, that is cash is king. And it is truly the fundamental driver to the survival of businesses, especially SMEs. Over the past 6 months, COVID has revolutionized not only the world, but also how businesses within it operate. As we've seen, over 50% of businesses report that they've been affected a great deal by COVID, and over 80% of businesses have reported that they've had some sort of fall in revenue. And many businesses have reported as well that they've had to reduce staff numbers, and this is especially true in hospitality. So like I said, the current situation is cash is key to survival, and for SMEs, every penny counts. So this involves minimizing overhead, staff costs, inventory costs, and trying to mitigate unexpected expenses to whatever degree that is possible. They also can't afford to take loans or result in overdrafts as they're already under tremendous financial duress. And for most SMEs, inventory and staff represent an inelastic demand, as they are the key to survival and for their day-to-day operation. That is where we come in with our value proposition being the NAS profit. And essentially, our tool is a time series forecasting tool that allows SMEs to predict and forecast their cash flows and demand. And by this, we're able to derive for them the required staff numbers and inventory costs to have their business running at the optimal level possible. So to really dive into the IT solution, Alexander will take us into that.
Well, the main purpose of our solution will be to implement machine learning to help SMEs identify volatility of product demands. So essentially, we'll be providing forecasts for each of the company's products to help justify inventory costs and provide an overall figure of demand to help justify staff levels. So the backbone of our software model will be developed from the Amazon's AWS time series predictive product demand forecast, which has proven to be quite successful. So our proposed personalized solution will be based upon economical context. We do this as COVID has only really truly been impacting SMEs for the last 6 months, as Sid mentioned, and there might not be enough data to justify the demand movement. However, we will consider how the economic recession, inactivity or business activity has really been impacting these businesses more so than COVID. So this provides us with an abundance of opportunity to collect relevant data based on our current economical context depicted in the matrix as defined, which is based upon inflationary levels and growth figures. So thus, for now, we'd have to find data relevant to low inflation and low growth to provide the basis for our forecast. So we will conduct thorough research and collect countless data sets that we believe will be relevant to generate an effective forecast for SMEs' demands. So the results will be used to create a personalized reports and visually display on our data on our user-friendly Shibumi interface. So now for the architectural plan. This is our first initial step is clearly to collect the relevant primary data that justifies the quantifiable figure for demand, such as sales and pricing figures that our SME must provide us with. So after this initial step, we then have to do industry and market analysis for the SME, where we will figure out the most relevant associated data that could potentially justify the movements in demand, such as weather, shipping costs, and time of the year, such as end of financial year. So finally implementing this into AWS software program, we will then provide our own customized model by timestamping the data during specified economical context. Once we forecast all the figures, the data will be analyzed and displayed on our displayed via user-friendly interface again of Shibumi. Here, the customers will be able to access personalized reports that will enable them to manage future cash flows and reallocate resources such as staff costs and inventory costs. So, however, there can be some potential pitfalls. Clearly, insufficient historical data on SMEs or the products that the SMEs produces, and this we'd have to utilize ASX indices for industry movements or close substitute replacements for the products that haven't been invented yet. And we want to ensure that there's strong, sufficient cybersecurity for our model. So thus, we'd have to outsource to a cybersecurity firm. Now, Sid will provide a user case.
Yeah. So just to tie everything up, I'm just going to take us through a potential use case. And in this situation, we're going to use Gino's Pizzas, a restaurant that specializes in pizzas. So he's been impacted quite a lot by COVID, but after lockdown has been reduced, he's finally able to reopen his restaurant. Business is slow, but it's returning and it's returning. However, he's unable to anticipate demand because he's not used to these times, and he's often left under or overstaffed. And he's also struggling with his inventory levels, having a lot of his goods, such as meat and vegetables, ending up being worthless and rotting. So for his business to survive, he needs cash on hand. That's his key. That's where we step in, and that's where our tool steps in to give him to give Gino a more accurate insight into his demand and his sales figures for the upcoming months. And this will be predicted monthly. So our tool NASP will take into account Gino's historical figures such as sales data and the current economic climate and relevant factors such as the weather or ongoing sporting events that may impact any level of sales. And the output will be through our user-friendly Shibumi interface, which will display the data in a visual sense, and also the personalized PDF reports, which will tell Gino what his next action items and steps are. And ultimately, the benefits of this are Gino will be able to roster the optimal amount of staff and also liaise with his suppliers to ensure that they acquire the sufficient amount of inventory and essentially saving cost and being able to manage his cash flows better. I will now have Max I'll keep going, sorry. So in terms of financial plan, we'll go through the initial development cost. So the development will be done by myself and my team. And as a result, we'll be requiring no financial compensation, as our compensation will be in terms of equity stake in the future profits of the firm. In terms of ongoing overhead costs, we have the cost towards the IT firm that we will pay on a monthly basis, as well as the Shibumi and AWS subscription fees that we'll pay on a monthly basis as well. But however, these will be covered by our future profits. In terms of our financial projection, our cost to customer will be on a usage basis, meaning there are no initial sign-up fees or any payments apart from that. So the customer's payment to us will depend on how many data sets they use, the amount of forecasts we generate, and how much data they store. So now I'll pass it on to Max, who's going to take us through the marketing aspect of our presentation.
So we compared our solution to other similar solutions in the industry in the areas of affordability and ease of use, and found our solution to outperform in both aspects. Our ease of use comes from the lack of training required to implement the solution, as we ultimately do the heavy lifting for the businesses. Our affordability stems from the need for less time series data, as we are dealing with small and medium-sized businesses who ultimately have less data points. For marketing, businesses most suited to our solution will satisfy three main criteria. The first is that the SME must have sufficient overhead costs. Our solution is specifically designed to help businesses by reducing these costs. It is important that we target these businesses that fall into this category, as they will get the most value out of the product. The second is that the business should have a sizable amount of historical data across a range of time periods. Businesses that have more data available are more likely to get better and more reliable results from our solution. As more businesses implement our solution, we can use this data to facilitate better forecasting with less historical data. However, initially, we need to target businesses with enough time series data. Finally, our ideal businesses will have seen a change in the way that they engage with their customers. With enough historical data, our solution should be able to examine the best way to optimize these changes for the economic climate. One example of such a business would be a small, primarily in-store operating retail business. Such a business would have ample point of sale data for the time series analysis and would have also experienced a shift to an online customer base. Our solution will help them understand this new market. Another example is the hospitality industry, as was previously mentioned in our case study. The key marketing points can be broken down into four aspects: simplicity, ease of use, accuracy, and reliability. Solutions utilizing machine learning are often daunting to businesses not directly involved in machine learning. SMEs would ideally offer a solution that they know how to use and have faith in using. This will be realized in our simple user interface and easily understandable output report. This will be a key marketing point so as to assure businesses that the solution is something that they can adapt to and continue to use to maximize revenue. For a business to implement a machine learning as part of their strategy, they need to know that the solution will produce the desired results. This ultimately comes down to accuracy and reliability. The Amazon AWS software is both accurate and reliable. Amazon itself claims the solution can be up to 50% more accurate, and Amazon's wide-scale success in forecasting is a testament to its reliability. This is a key point to iterate to potential businesses, as in conjunction with our COVID-19 specific understanding to potential businesses, knowing that our service is Amazon-based instills confidence in the solution. We feel that we have a really good solution on our hands that has the potential to help a lot of businesses, and we hope that you guys feel the same way.